The failed rollout of Obamacare could be a big factor in the 2014 midterm elections, with some pundits saying Republicans could be in for big gains. Here to tell us if he thinks that's true, Larry Sabato from the UVA Center for Politics. Larry, good to see you.
Thank you, John.
Republicans need to pick up 6 Senate seats so we can focus on the Senate to take control. Is there any way that they could do that next November?
Oh, absolutely. Look, right now, I think if the elections were held any time in the first half of 2014, the Republicans would pick up a minimum of 3 to 4 seats. As you said, they need 6. John, that's the average gain for the White House out-of-power party since World War II in the 6th year of an 8-year administration. Well, 2014 is the 6th year of an 8-year administration. Those elections are called the 6th year itch for a reason.
They are. The Senate seats that are up for grabs that really are looking attractive to Republicans are in Louisiana, Arkansas, North Carolina, and Alaska. What impact is Obamacare having, Larry, on the races in those states?
It hurts in every single one. John, I recently had a top-flight Democratic consultant say to me, off the record, of course, that this map is the worst one he's seen for Democrats in his adult lifetime. Simply because it's coincidence as much as anything else. You remember, you have a different third of the Senate up every 2 years. Well, it just so happens that you've got a Republican cast to the competitive seats that are up in 2014. I mean, Alaska, Louisiana, Arkansas, even North Carolina, which is more competitive, but which leans Republican. These are clearly Republican seats, and there are others. The Republicans are nearly guaranteed to pick up a Democratic seat in West Virginia, a Democratic seat in South Dakota. Montana's gotten closer, but I think the Republican has a slight edge in Montana. As
you said at the beginning of this, Larry, if the election were to be held in the next few months, the Republicans could pick up 3 or 4 seats. There's a lot of anti-Obamacare sentiment in the country right now, but it's a long way between now and next November. If that anti-Obamacare sentiment fades, people kind of get used to it, it's off the radar screen, it's not on the front pages anymore, could that affect the outcome of some of these key races in the states that we mentioned?
Well, it could. I'll be surprised if that actually happens, John, but I'm surprised a lot in politics. So it's possible. But, you know, I've learned something about off-year elections. It is all about what I call surge and decline, all right? The Democrats surged in 2006 and 2008. Then the Republicans surged as the Democrats declined in 2010. Then the Democrats surged in 2012. Well, it's time for the Republicans to surge again under this theory of surge and decline. And by the way, that surge and decline cycle has been speeding up recently.
Yeah. A couple of other races that I think bear looking at. One is the Georgia Senate race, where they have a fairly crowded field of Republicans against potential candidate Michelle Nunn, who is Sam Nunn's daughter, so there's a lot of name recognition there. And then the Senate race in Kentucky, pitting Mitch McConnell, who polls show is the most unpopular senator in all of Congress. It looks like he's going to go up against Allison Lundergan Grimes, who is the Secretary of State there and who has some pretty good popularity ratings. Is there a potential there for the GOP to lose a couple of Senate seats?
Well, there's always the potential. You know, in Kentucky, John, I've watched Mitch McConnell closely since he was first elected in a big upset in 1984. And let me tell you something. If there's one person in the Senate that I wouldn't bet against in a close race, it's Mitch McConnell. Now, Georgia's a much better example of how Republicans can blow it. 2 words. Todd Akin, the Republican nominee in Missouri, who blew a nearly sure Senate race back in 2012. Republicans in Georgia had better be thinking about that person and comparing their field to who might be another Todd Akin, because they can absolutely blow that seat. They can throw it away if they're not careful.
Can you imagine if they picked up seats in Louisiana, Arkansas, North Carolina, Alaska, West Virginia, and then lost one in Georgia? That would be a bad day.
I can imagine it, because politics is crazy, and that's why we're attracted to it.
All right. Larry, it's always great to talk to you. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Thanks.
Happy New Year to you too, John. Have a good one.
You too.